And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We're talking all the news as it hits March the 28th, yes, the day before Good Friday, where we're off for the weekend at Easter. No F1 race this time, sadly, but there is rally if you're interested. Stay tuned for our safari coverage, but I digress. So, the news going into the weekend. Yes, it's going to be interesting. I mean, there's Danny Ricciardo, as you can see. There's Lewis Hamilton news. And the Lewis Hamilton news is such that Hamilton is having an engine problem in terms of question marks over that engine. The engine that went bang in Australia. But not only that, Ricciardo saying he won't be distracted on all this negativity. No distractions, no negativity. Fingers crossed for a brand new Daniel Ricciardo in Japan. There's still all these rumours that he's only got two races left. That's even less than Nick de Vries. I don't think that's going to happen. And last but not least, Honda to open its UK base ahead of essentially it going with Aston Martin for their power unit. Could be interesting, couldn't it? So let's get into the first bit of news here, which is question marks remains over Hamilton's W15 engine after what's been described as a catastrophic loss. And it really was. It wasn't even a bang, was it? I mean, we're watching the Australian Grand Prix. He's doing, I guess, okay. And then it just stopped. It was almost like someone Control-Alt-deleted the engine. So James Allison, he said that Hamilton's power unit suffered and what they described as a catastrophic failure in Melbourne. Though, and this is the scary thing, the trigger for it remains unknown. So there's 3 races and at least 2 Mercedes power engine problems, 1 failure. And as we know, George Russell had that overheating engine as well. In Bahrain, if you remember. So as we know, it had already been a frustrating Grand Prix for Hamilton because he didn't get into Q2, albeit just out qualified by George Russell in Q2. Then George Russell did fairly well towards the end of the race, let's say. So Mercedes are, though, waiting on answers, and a free weekend now waits before the Japanese Grand Prix. Now, Mercedes-Benz high-performance powertrains, formerly Ilmore in Brixworth, has a very busy schedule ahead, as the race team remain pretty much in the dark. They don't know what went wrong with Hamilton's power unit, which is another, more fuel to add to the fire of Mercedes-Benz concerns. Now, asked as part of Mercedes' Australian Grand Prix debrief whether the cause of Hamilton's failure had been discovered, and Allison confirmed, "We do not." Now, the power unit will return to the safe hands of those guys in Brixworth to try and find out, hopefully well in time for the Japanese Grand Prix. Allison said, "All we know is the symptoms at the time, which was a rapid loss of oil pressure, followed by a shutdown of the engine to protect it. Because when you know you've got a catastrophic loss like that, the best thing you can do for the future is kill it there and then, put it down, so to speak, and then you have not just got a load of molten metal, congealed metal." So he went on to saying you have normally got a fairly clear evidence chain of what caused it, and then that lets you work better for the future. And he goes on to say, "So we do not know yet. Brixworth and HPP, that's the high performance powertrains, I think, will do in short order, and no doubt as soon as we know, then they will jump to their characteristic energy to make sure that any risk that happens on any other engine is mitigated as best we can." Very nice PR speak there, but slightly concerned that they still don't know, a good 3 or 4 days on, what happened. What is going on at Mercedes? I mean, it's those wonderful years of 2014, even between 2014 and 2020, and I'll even include 2021 in that, seem to be but a distant memory. So, and talking about distant memories and past success, yes, we have got Ricciardo pretty much saying, "I won't be distracted by negative stuff in the Formula One paddock," and he insists that he's not going to be bothered by this negative stuff, which I think is a massive plus. Concentrate on your driving. He is literally driving to survive in Formula One at the moment, I think. I think a lot of people can agree with that. So as we know, Red Bull chose to retain Ricciardo at the Faenza outfit for 2024 rather than opt for Liam Lawson. And to be fair, that made perfect sense at the time. Yes, he hurt his hand, but he was seen as a more solid prospect than bringing in a rookie, in spite of Liam Lawson's, let's be fair, excellent debut. So they opted for Danny Ricciardo. However, as we know, in the early races this year, as we spoke about the other day, he's been overshadowed by his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, who has twice made Q3 and finished 8th in Melbourne on the road, which was ultimately 7th. Now, Ricciardo, in contrast, he struggled to get up to speed, started his home race in 18th after losing that quick lap with a oopsie off the track, and he finished the first 3 events in 13th, 16th and 12th. Now, some media reports, I think wrongly, but they've suggested that Marco has given Ricciardo 2 more races to improve. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to have a lot more. I mean, he's faring a bit better, I think, than De Vries at the moment, but we'll see. Now, Ricciardo, though, insists he's not paying attention to such talk, which I think is the only thing he can do. He said, I came into this weekend, really honestly, deep down, believing like we were going to have a very, very good weekend, he said, when he, in Australia. And he went, in terms of the noise, people tell me, like, in the media, they're like, oh, so and so said, and that's the first I've heard. It's obviously no disrespect to you guys, and I believe he was obviously talking to the media at this point. But he said, but I know that I'm on this little kind of process or journey at the moment, and I just need to focus on myself. And I think if I let in any of that noise, it's going to distract me from the path I'm on. I haven't let any of that negative stuff creep in. I really hope that's the case. Now, he did admit, though, he had anticipated, and I think we all did, a better start to 2024. Especially having time to gain that momentum in what was the latter part of last year. And other than Mexico, it kind of wasn't coming. And he said, I didn't expect to start the season like this. Budapest last year, he said, I drove the car a day before, and then I out-qualified Yuki and have a strong race, and with no knowledge. So where is that Daniel? We want the 2014-2016 Daniel. So, and then he says, having a full pre-season and all that, and all the races last year, honestly, I thought that this year we would start a lot stronger. So there is that which I don't understand, he says. Not only me, but a few people are wondering why. Pourquoi? I think the important thing is that I stay on course. It's not that my head is filled with nonsense or anything. I honestly feel good. And just unfortunately said the results haven't made me feel awesome, but deep down behind the wheel I do feel good and excited and just want to keep racing, and I'm sure I'll find a bit more in myself, and I still believe maybe we'll find a little something on the car. I really hope you do. I think loads of people do. Fingers crossed for you, Daniel Ricciardo. I still believe in you. Hopefully, a lot of people watching this still believe in you. You can do it. I do think, kind of like the Perez situation in Red Bull, I still think it's in Daniel Ricciardo's hands. He can change his destiny like Sergio Perez can at Red Bull. Will they? I guess only time is going to tell. So Honda to open UK base. Yeah, they're opening a new Formula One base that will mainly carry out post-race maintenance on those power units it's going to give to Aston Martin in 2026. Now, as we know, they officially withdrew at the end of 2021, which was, I think, a mistake. Bear in mind how good that engine was then, after propelling Max Verstappen to his first world title. Now, Honda's continued to supply engines until the end of 2025 to Red Bull and RB, previously known as AlphaTauri, which was previously known as Toro Rosso, and that's under its Honda Racing Corporation subsidiary, before Red Bull enters into its own powertrain project in conjunction with Ford, or so we're led to believe. Ford currently, will Ford have issues? I don't think they will, but it's been very silent on that front, hasn't it? So the Japanese manufacturer is going to return to the top flight for the advent of the new powertrain regulations in 2026, which notably ditch those expensive and complex MGU, the motor generator unit heat, and shift to a 50-50 power split for the 1.6 litre turbocharged engine and hybrid system. Now, its comeback will be the works engine supplier to Aston Martin. I always thought that was strange. Aston Martin Honda. Okay. But anyway, to assist that deal, HRC has created a new UK company and will be opening a factory. And this is going to be headed up by the HRC president Koji Watanabe. I probably got that wrong, but he's joined Honda all the way back in the 1987. So amazing, that's pre any Ayrton Senna titles. Now, according to a statement, Honda basically said this new company has been founded to primarily perform post-race maintenance and preparation tasks on the Honda-built F1 power units, while also operating as a logistics operation for the European region. Yes, very PR speak. The establishment of the HRC UK will further enhance the effectiveness of Honda's PU operations in support of their partnership with the Aston Martin team. Now, in 2023, as you know, or not, but that's when the Honda Aston Martin venture was announced that they're going to enter into that partnership in 2026. So fingers crossed for Honda. I mean, that's pretty much all the main headlines that we want to get into. So I just wanted to say, if you made it to the end, absolutely fantastic. Like and subscribe if you can. That will be great. And we will speak to you soon. Thank you very much.